Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Picks and Sticks podcast, a fun music podcast where four great friends talk about the music, bands, and songs that they love. I'm Moro.
I'm Gordo.
I'm Cecil.
And I'm Huff.
And this is Picks and Sticks. On this episode of the podcast, we bring you 10 great songs from a tribe called Quest.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Picks and Sticks. Quick shout out to the listeners who got in on the bad gigs conversation. That episode rekindled a few memories for some listeners as we heard bad gig stories about Van Morrison, Bob Dylan, Velvet Revolver, and David Lee Roth, just to name a few. Actually, the David Lee Roth gig was probably one of my favorite ones. It was a double whammy. I'll let you guys in on this one because not only was David Lee Roth bad, the opening act was, and let me know if you guys remember this band, Izzy Stradlin and the Juju Hounds.
Oh yeah, dude.
Remember that? Right? Izzy went out, and that was, I don't know if you guys had that album or if you've listened to it. It was actually,
He's released
a pretty
few
good album.
I'm surprised he was bad.
He's released a few. They're pretty good albums.
Well, yeah, he has the Juju Hounds one was his only one under that, whatever you want to call it, moniker, that umbrella. But what made that especially bad was that Izzy didn't show up. He's the lead singer and the lead guitarist, and he fucking didn't show. So it was just the Juju Hounds.
Just the Juju Hounds.
All right, that wins.
Oh,
that wins.
not
Right?
That wins.
Not so easy. The Juju Hounds.
He must have
Isn't
learned
that
from Axl.
Right? At least Axl eventually showed up. He just pulled the shoot all together. So I was like, so you're down a lead guitarist, you're down a vocalist. So I don't know, did you just go instrumental? Like they still played a set.
Yeah.
They played like a 30-minute set before David Lee Roth went out there and absolutely murdered the stage. He was horrible too. But
How long ago was this?
oh fuck. When was Izzy Stradlin a thing? You know, and I meant to look at the year and I forgot to do that.
That's all right.
But what is that? That's got to be mid-90s?
Oh, that long. Okay.
Well,
And David Lee Roth was
90s, I
brutal
would think.
Yeah.
Did you just come out and smile like the Joker? Yeah, all right.
Well, he probably did, right? It was a small venue, which you'd think would be good, but maybe, I don't know, maybe he wasn't into it because he was playing, where did he play? I think it was the Roadhouse or something like that here in town, which is like, that's a shit venue. That's a little
Roadhouse. Have you seen that Family Guy episode where Peter knocks out? He punches someone in the face throughout the whole episode, and then just goes Roadhouse. reference to the Patrick Swayze movie Roadhouse. Yeah,
which is a great movie. It's
Well
so
done,
cheesy,
Peter.
it's unbelievable.
it's
So
good.
so that was that's the story on Izzy Stradlin and Juju Hounds. So I'm sure there's plenty of other stories. So if you haven't checked out the Bad Gigs episode, make sure you do that. And feel free to let us know what your worst concert experience was. We'd love to hear a lot more. I'm not sure if you can top that, but if you can, we would love to hear it. The email address is picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. And you can also reach us through Instagram at Picks and Sticks Podcast and also on Twitter at Picks and Sticks 2. Well, we've been promising, actually before I do that, I forgot about our new segment. We talked about it a few episodes ago. That we are building a new studio, so it is now time for the segment we call "Is it done yet?" So, Moro, is it done yet?
No.
Okay, so that is that segment. So we'll move on to.
But I'd like you to tell the listeners about how you're enjoying my drums.
What drums? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's the ongoing joke. Moro Morrow is doing a huge renovation, so I've got his drum kit right behind me. Actually, if we were on YouTube or some video platform, you'd be able to see it. So he keeps asking me how I'm enjoying them, and I keep saying, "What drum set?" He's not getting these back.
So I'm looking for a nice set of drums.
Yeah,
if anyone has some for sale.
If I see some on Kijiji, I'll send you the link. You can pick up some drums. I've played them a little bit. Like I said, I haven't played in a long time, and I'm terrible. So I do have. Shout out to Rob Brown. If anyone else, any of the other drummers out there that watch Rob Brown on YouTube, he's got some good stuff. He's hopefully going to straighten out my many deficiencies on the drum kit. So maybe by the time that the studio's done, I'll be able to keep time at least. I think the older you get, is that a thing? The older you get, the worse your timing becomes. Because fuck, I'll tell you, maybe it's just because I haven't played a lot, but I'm awful. My time.
I was trying to play Master of Puppets on the guitar the other day.
How'd that go?
It was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
Well, you can't cram 10 years of practice into 1 week, Huffman. Give it another week.
Well, okay, I'll give it another week. On the bright side, I can play a lot of off time stuff. It's not intentional, but I am off time like a madman. It's something to behold. Maybe we can do can you do a video jam session? Is that even a thing? Probably not.
Yeah.
Sure we can.
Sorry to go back. I think I talked about on the Metallica podcast when we were teenagers or older teenagers and hearing Morrow from rip off Master of Puppets. We were practicing at the same time. Thought we were kind of moving along the same level till I heard that. And it kind of discouraged me from keeping on trying. Just, it was so good.
How is it now, Morrow?
I was out back on Hoffman's skate ramp, and then I just hear dan 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 dan. He just killed it.
Well, it doesn't sound as good because I was playing it on the acoustic.
But well, there you go. But you remember all the notes, don't you? Like it was yesterday.
I remember all the notes. My fingers don't move as fast.
So what's up with that too? Like I was listening to down as far as childhood, you can remember things better than if you learned them yesterday. I was listening to I went down some rabbit holes, got on the Fat Boys because of this podcast, and
nice.
I was ripping off lyrics like I heard them yesterday. Yeah,
really?
I remember so many songs, and I hadn't heard them since I was a freaking junior high.
We should do a Fat Boys episode.
Yeah.
That'll be our last episode we ever do.
Well, maybe not, but someone did tease the idea of doing the staff picks that they do at, record stores or they used to do at the old movie stores and stuff like that. If we ever do one of those, each guy will, one episode will pick an album that you want to do or whatever. Maybe we will get to some Fat Boys. I think there's going to be, I would think there might be more rap with those episodes maybe than we think, because I went down a rabbit hole today, and I'll try not to get too far ahead of myself, but I ended up listening to a lot of Ice-T OG, the original Gangster CD.
Isn't that like a 25th year anniversary of that? That just happened?
Maybe.
It's probably 26 with us.
Yeah,
us.
Which would be right in the wheelhouse. I think
I love that album. Yeah.
Oh, it's even better than I remembered it. But maybe we'll do a little bit of that. Get into some different stuff. But for today, we've kind of, I don't know how long we've been talking about this. I feel like on every outro for the last, I don't know how many episodes, at some point we're going to do Tribe. We're going to do Tribe. And you know what? It's finally here. It's 10 great songs by a Tribe Called Quest. It took some time. But it's a different, even though it's the same, there's four of us, we're doing our regular format. There's something different about tonight, isn't there, boys?
I believe there is. We needed some supplementary help.
We've supersized the episode. If I can steal a line from local fast food joint. Although they don't use that anymore. But we supersized the episode. We've got actually 6 lists that we put together.
6?
Yeah.
Damn, son. Can our algorithm even handle that? It can barely handle 4.
What? We're going to find that out in a few minutes once we get to that. But this is unprecedented, gentlemen. Wow. So B-Rad chipped in with a list, and probably, as Gord, you mentioned, probably the most extensive notes you've ever seen.
Far more extensive than mine have ever been. Yes. Very detailed.
I believe B-Rad hired our research team.
Should we explain how we know these guys? B-Rad being like an old buddy, and he's somehow related to my wife through friends and family. So
back up just a quick sec. So B-Rad's chipped in, and Trev has also chipped in, and you've heard Moral reference Trev numerous times in past episodes. So they put in the time and the effort, and traveled this long road of putting together a top 20 list. So why don't you take it from there, Gordo?
Well, yeah, I was. I know when we approached this, we were all pretty big fans of the tribe. We're like, man, this is going to take a while, and then we knew that B-Rad was a huge fan. We're like, well, let's get him to chime in, and maybe he can help out. And then Moral suggested also Trev was a huge tribe guy, so the more the merrier here. I would think. These guys have done their homework, boys. They've really stepped up their game. They've got notes. They've got reasons, and
B-Rad's notes are off the charts.
His notes are just crazy. Now,
Trev out of the blue just emailed me the list.
You didn't even ask him to participate or anything. You just did it.
No, he did his own list, and then he emailed it to me. Then he reminded me of a story, which is hilarious. What year was it that the Black Album Metallica came out?
It's like 91, maybe?
91.
Yeah.
91. So him and I were in Shuswap Lake on holidays. And I guess we would have been like, 16, 15? And the Black Album was coming out, and the closest record store, tape store at the time, whatever, was in Kamloops, which was about an hour and a half away. So we managed to convince somebody to give us a ride. I don't know, it was my friend's parents or something. We drove in so that I could get this Metallica release. It was like right on the week it released, because we were in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. And so we each bought a tape. I bought the Black Album. He bought the Tribe Called Quest album. The
Low End
first one.
Oh, the first one.
The first one. Which is what?
People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm.
Yeah, so anyway, it was interesting. He bought that, and we ended up listening to probably more of that than we did the Black Album, because we know how the Black Album turned out. But
it was good at the time, but we won't get into that conversation.
Yeah, so I just got the list, showed up, and then he reminded me of that. So it was, we go way back with the tribe. It was good that he sent his list, and I was pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, and yeah, Trev's been a guy that I think that listens to, well, at least, for me, he listens to more hip hop than I probably ever have. There's probably 2 guys I think that over my years, people that we've hung out with, but the 2 honestly that come to mind that listen to a lot of hip hop, Trev being one of them and Cecil being the other, I would say.
Trev is my, like, he turned me on to more bands than anyone. Like, every time I see him, I'm just like, dude, what bands are you listening to?
Yeah.
Write it down, because back then, harder to find music too. You just, Google searches were a little new,
non-existent.
Write it down,
or non-existent. So
yeah,
but like any genre. Like, I first heard of the Hives, the Swinging Neckbreakers. I can't think of many more, but yeah, you're talking. We got a music guru here doing one of our lists.
Wow. And he said the best hip hop gig he ever saw, this is a little off topic, was Public Enemy at the university. Said the best one.
They played the university here?
Yeah.
Like freaking like Denny's Den?
I don't know if it was that or Mac Hall.
Had to be Mac.
No, it couldn't have been
Well, Mac Hall would have been the college though back then, right? That would have been
Yeah.
That would
Anyway,
have been a great show.
Anyway, I want him to send in a bad gig because he's probably seen about 8 zillion gigs.
yeah, the problem is you'd send in bad gigs for bands we've never heard of.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Oh, I once saw the Motherless Sons, and they were terrible. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Nice.
Anyway,
Yeah, so that's that's kind of interesting, and I think just give me a second here, Gord. That when I was talking to B-Rad, and part of me just kind of lights up now that we actually got some lists from other people, because I know in the first few episodes I was begging people, hey, like, go through this process. It's not as easy as you think, and maybe you'll have a little bit of fun with it and whatever. And this is interesting to me because the Tribe Called Quest, when we said, man, it felt like such an undertaking, yet it's only 6 albums.
That's it, right?
Right? Like, but it was just, I don't know. It was a bit of a challenge, but anyway, Gordo, you were
6 albums, but 18 songs per album.
Yeah, that's true too, and they're not punk songs either, right? It's not like listening to the first Rancid album that has a lot of songs, but it's still 31 minutes.
And it's not like they have like a complete dud album in the middle where you can just write it off. Like they're all pretty good and they're all right. But what I was going to mention is, B-Rad overheard us playing poker that we were doing Tribe, and he just lit up. And we're like, well, why don't you submit your list, man? And as circumstances would have it, unfortunately, he had to go on a COVID quarantine for 24 days. So he
locked in his basement.
24 days. So we had tons of time to do this. But he says in his notes here, just like how many hours this took him to do. He has no idea how we managed to be married and have jobs and still do this. You got to put in the time, brother.
Yeah, it's a commitment. It's definitely a commitment. So, I don't know if there's any other stories or that with Tribe. If you want to call it the band, the group is it's 4 gentlemen: Q-Tip, Fife Dog, Ali, and Jerobi. Like I said, 6 albums, really spanning. I mean, the 6th album was a little bit of a surprise, I would say, because that came out in 2016. But the previous 5 albums came out in a span of 8 years, I guess. The first, People's Instinctive Travels, came out in 1990. The Love Movement in 1998. So there was, 5 albums that came in that span. Gordo made us aware of a documentary. What was it called? It's called Beats, Rhymes,
and Life. Not a lot of love in that band around in the Love Movement.
Yeah, Beats, Rhymes, and Life by Michael Rappaport, the actor. He's from...
Yeah, he's a goof.
He's from New York.
He's kind of weirdo,
He's a huge hip-hop guy, but he just seems like that buddy that's always like, I don't know. He doesn't seem that genuine to me. Is that weird? Like, he's just an odd dude.
Yeah, he is.
He just got in that Twitter fight with Kevin
the guy
Durant.
from Barstool Sports.
Oh, is that right?
And Kevin Durant.
What was he arguing about?
Oh yeah, he doubled down on something, and yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's a different cat, but Gordo saw the.
Was that him doing that crazy old man rant about Durant sitting out? That wasn't him, was it?
I didn't see it.
I don't know.
I've only read that he was in some argument. Something went down with him and a dude from Barstool Sports. And this has been going on for a while, and they just recently went to court, apparently.
Seriously, got that?
Yeah, and Rappaport lost, is my understanding. Again, I'm going without a research team. I'm talking completely out of my ass, which is on brand for what I do. But and then something went down with Durant. So I don't know if you've got some time to kill. You want to talk rabbit holes? I'm pretty sure that you could spend a few hours going back into the history of whatever the hell went down with Rappaport and that other dude.
Well, he's got a feud with Howard Stern, too, because Howard Stern uninvited him
I heard of that one.
to the Christmas party.
Yeah, he didn't invite him
But
to
anyway,
the
I
stupid Christmas
digress.
party. It was back to that.
Whose Christmas party?
Oh,
was
sorry.
it Stern's personal
It was
party?
Stern's Christmas party, the serious, whatever, the Howard Stern show Christmas party.
Oh, okay.
And because Rappaport, apparently he's on the wrap-up show all the time with those guys, and so he thought he should be invited to the Christmas party, and Howard's like, "Fuck that! He's not coming to my Christmas party. He's not on my staff."
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, go ahead, Carlin. You were saying?
Nah, it was kind of meh. I don't like seeing like the personal drama. Kind of takes away from the lore or the
Yeah.
I found the documentary.
But
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
started
terrible.
good.
But the Love Movement, they kind of weren't getting along as good. So it's kind of strange that they'd be named that. But yeah, they Fife but they grew up when they're little kids, so that happens. You get sick of each other, like you guys.
It was kind of a disappointing documentary. I thought it started off strong, showing how they met and their how they formed the first couple albums, and then the last half just focuses on Fife and Q-Tip just at each other for petty shit. And it seems even more ridiculous now that Fife died a few years back. But
So
Yeah.
not worth the watch, I think.
it's pretty
Just
depressing.
listen to the tunes.
It was
agreed.
in Michael Rappaport fashion. It was a bunch of drama that was completely unnecessary for a fucking band that's amazing.
That makes sense. That's his influence, hey?
That's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
call,
I'd say so.
No
You're
kidding.
probably right.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It's a
they had
great
the,
call.
they had the wrong guy
He's a shit
doing it.
disturber.
Totally.
Yeah, so
Totally.
it was
Yes.
his fault.
Yeah,
Sounded
you
good.
can pass on that.
Director bad. Michael Rappaport.
I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too bad because, like you said, for such a great band or a group of
Well,
artists.
I would argue
Yeah.
that they're probably the most influential hip hop band of our generation. I mean, they say alternative hip hop, but I can't.
Sorry, I saw
I can't
that.
think of anyone.
That's the dumbest name. There's nobody nobody in the music like that actually performing would have come up with that term.
Alternative hip hop. When I saw that, I was like, "What a stupid
got
fucking
angry.
name."
Who said that? Was that in the doc too?
I don't know.
I saw it. I've seen it written down in a few. I thought it was. Yeah, it was kind of unfair just because they weren't gangster rap. Why do they got to be alternative? Like it was kind of I don't know. Not my favorite term either. I guess
It was the brush they painted everything with in that was good again in those days in the early '90s, which was fucking stupid. But that aside, I cannot think of a hip hop band that really has influenced people more. I was with my daughter listening to some Tribe, and she didn't like it that much, and I was like, well, I said, what you need to understand is that these guys influenced like everybody that you're listening to now. Like these were their heroes. Like even like all those guys, Pharrell Williams, and they all fucking idolized Tribe Called Quest because they were just doing some shit that was incredible.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, I'm not a Tribe aficionado by any stretch of the imagination. I would almost say out of the four of us, I've listened to them the least, or maybe even know the least about them. But what sticks out to me when I listen to those albums, particularly the early stuff, is obviously very sample heavy, but different kinds of samples. Like lots of jazz, lots of cool stuff. It's very rare. I mean, there's the Lou Reed one, the Walk on the Wild Side, that a lot of people know. But outside of that, as you're listening to them, and there's some more popular stuff that's buried in the background if you really listen. But I mean,
well, there's songs that have like 8-10 different samples in them, and they're just hidden in there. You'd never fucking know it.
Now is that? I'd have to check my timeline. But where does that connect?
Heavy sample.
What's that?
Midnight Marauders is super heavy sample. Like there's like 100 credits they have on there for samples.
Yeah, and that's 93. Does anyone remember off the top of your head when did Paul's Boutique come out?
I don't know. What is it? I'm guessing. I'll say 92.
I think it was 92.
Research team. Let's go.
Research.
Because I just, I'm wondering out loud, not that we have the answer, we're not going to give the answer, but I just kind of wonder out loud because that was, an album that was sample heavy as well. You kind of wonder.
It's a lost art, and I don't know if it was in the documentary or if I read it or saw an interview. They said that Q-Tip used to just sit and listen to records over and over and listen to different records and listen to everything to find stuff, samples. And, you know, I feel like that's a little bit of a lost art. You hear samples, but the way they did it then and the way we do it now digitally is quite different.
Totally.
And the way the DJs spun the records, and, you know, there's new technology, and I don't know enough to say anything about it, but it was pretty special stuff, the way that the DJs worked back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, if Fife was still around, we could have invited him to help us out with the Vinyl Addiction episode that will be upcoming.
Right.
You'll probably, by the time you hear this, you've already heard that one, because we have recorded. We just need to release that one. But why don't we swing into the top 10? The top 10 list. Again, a little bit different because the way that we do it, generally, everybody that participates. So there's generally 4 of us. We each submit a list of our favorite 20 songs, and we run that through the patented Picks and Sticks algorithm, and it ranks all the songs, and then we talk about the top 10. We have 6, so we actually have 120 songs. Some will be the same, obviously, but we run that through, and I think the most incredible thing to me is that somehow we have more guys, yet our top 10 actually only has 10 songs. I don't know if that makes more sense. I guess if there's less ties, if you will, or how that works, but there are actually only 10 in the playlist, or in the top 10. I mean, speaking of playlists, I must have had that on my mind that we do have playlists. So our top 20, the overall, you know, the algorithmed 20 songs, and then we add our deep cuts at the end. So this playlist, who knows? It's going to end up, I would think, somewhere between 25 and 30 songs, depending on how many deep cuts we have. But
that's awesome.
Anyway, it's gonna be a great listen. You can find those playlists on Apple Music, YouTube Music, or Spotify. And I believe they're also on Deezer. If Michael O'Coin is still doing that, I forgot to check. Did you check, Mauro?
You know what? I did not check.
All right.
But hopefully our good friend Michael is still putting it there. But if not,
if you're listening, Michael, shoot us a note. Let us know you're still around, because he was doing us a big favor. So the top 10 is an excellent top 10, if I do say so myself. We've got number 10, number 9, number 8, all from Low End Theory. Number 10 is Butter. Number 9 is Bugging Out. Sorry. Number 8 is Scenario. 3 tremendous songs. I'll throw it out to you guys.
Well, Butter's unbelievable. Butter is hilarious. I think lyrically, it's one of the funniest songs that they have. I don't know what you think, Gordo, but
I think all 3 of these songs are really, really different too, which is funny for a band that has a lot of similar sounding stuff. But I really enjoyed Butter. Great example, like you said, of they're very clever lyricists. They're not like just overtly like in your face yelling at you. You know, they're very thoughtful. And you know, I know we mentioned Q-Tip earlier, but that he's got to be a genius. Like, he is so talented at the samples. Yeah. He's incredible. So my favorite of these 3 was Bugging Out. I had this one very high on my list. I think it's one of the grooviest songs I've ever heard. It's got sampling some old stand-up bass, which they seem to do better than anyone, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything more groovy than a stand-up bass?
Love stand-up bass.
Low End Theory is stand-up bass heavy throughout.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a minimal band sound.
I went down a rabbit hole with that because I watched actually a 2.5 hour masterclass way before we did this episode on a guy named Bob Power. But I didn't realize, and this guy's the low end master. Like, he is, he's a mix engineer, record producer now probably, but he somehow stumbled into these guys in the early 90s and ended up doing the Low End Theory album. And he's the master of bass and clarity. So you'll get the most bass, but the highest level of clarity from the mixes he does. And so this album's sort of like a masterpiece for him. kind of got him on the map. So
they did
really,
interview
really
him
cool.
briefly in the documentary. It's kind of funny to see him because you're looking, he's like this old white guy, kind of long, shaggy hair, and you're like, how's he fitting in with Tribe? Like, how are you on the low end theory? What did you offer?
Yeah, I like his comments. He's humble. He just
totally
gave all the credit to the musical genius of the band.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked out of place. He looked almost not as much as that CEO executive that was.
One of the comments he said is, if you want to make a great fucking recording, find a great artist and have him do a great performance, and your work is done. And that kind of low end theory, being that these songs are from that album, is really that. It's very simple. It's bass. It's not as sample heavy as some of the others. Mm-hmm. It's bass and jazz, and the drum sounds are incredible.
Amazing.
But the lyrics are really cool. Lyrics are really cool. And
Tanya, Tamika, Sharon, Karen, Tina, Stacy, Julie, Tracy. I used to love him. Leave him. Squeeze him. I tried to hold back quoting lyrics, but there's too many.
Is he bitter about the ladies, eh?
Well,
the groupies?
Small man syndrome.
Does he have the small, like, I was going to say that because I didn't realize until really getting into this that he's only 5'3", which is not just short. That's like really short for a dude. So I don't know if he had a chip on his shoulder or what the deal was, but he still had clever lyrics, man.
And then
he makes Easy look like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
In Butter, he's talking about flow, which apparently is a girl that every man wants to be with. I don't know if that's true. I looked it up online. It's also a women's health app for for ovulation.
Oh, of course it is.
I don't think he was talking about that. I'm not sure the app was available at 1991. I don't know. We can check our research team.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know what's interesting about this list in general too, is that I intentionally didn't look up any hits, any information. I listened to it twice through before I did any research, and I know Scenario here was one of their biggest songs. It's amazing how many hits we agreed on that were their true top 10 singles and what have you, without knowing that. So I guess it just speaks to how good those songs were.
Yeah, I was kind of winging. Scenario was funny. I had a note here just because I knew, and I didn't watch the documentary, but I knew that at least a couple of you guys had, that this song was not in the documentary because Busta Rhymes wouldn't sign off on it. So when you watch
he feels the same way about the director as we do.
Yeah, he must have. But I mean that song, I guess in a way helped launch the solo career of Busta Rhymes, right? Because at the time he was with a group.
Yeah.
So
it also
anyway,
it has Leaders of the New School in it as well. If you're
that's who that was. Busta was in that. Yeah.
Was he? No, I don't think so.
I thought he was.
It was Busta Rhymes' debut, and then there was the Leaders of the New School.
I thought he was all part of that.
It's possible, but I don't think so.
Okay. Speaking of Busta, number 7 on our list, the first entry from Midnight Marauders is "Oh My God." This is Trev's number 1 song. He's not here to defend his selection, but Cease and Morrow both had it at number 3 on your personal list.
I had this song on a loop when I had a little phase where these two tapes, Midnight Marauders and Low End Theory, never left my car. It was when I was living in London. I had an old 80s something, 85 I think, Buick, and it tinted windows,
nice.
hauled ass, piece of crap tires so I could do like brake stands. But yeah, rolling around London and that, playing those two albums over and over and over. So anyways, oh my God, I was addicted to that song. I got almost tired myself of it, playing it so much.
I'll freely admit that I totally missed this song on my list. I had it on and just missed putting it in the top 10. That's a egregious omission.
easy to do with this though. Like some of those songs outside my 20, like I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but Huffman's one song none of us had, and it could be top 5 on all of us.
I'll have something to say about that a little bit later. My challenge with Oh My God is the Busta Rhymes loop. I think if I'm not in the right mood for it, like I am, I don't mind them. I'm not a huge fan, but just that it's just the repeating of "Oh my God," all that I found it distracting and a lot of times annoying. So it didn't even make my short list. But
okay,
in any event, but you know what did make everybody's list is song number 6. I left my wallet in El Segundo. Gordo's favorite line out of any Tribe song.
I ordered enchiladas and I ate them. Why is that line so good? I have to.
I don't know.
Every time I hear it, it's amazing.
I can relate to that song.
I absolutely love that song. I don't know why. It's their first hit too.
I've left my wallet everywhere.
Yeah, it was their first hit, first video anyway. You leave your wallet everywhere.
Oh fuck! I've lost my wallet so many times. I lost my wallet. I lost my wallet in the movie theater once. I fell out of my pocket. I was at a matinee in the afternoon, and then I went out for dinner. I didn't notice my wallet was gone until like 7:30 at night. So it was like 5 hours later. I go back to the theater. I asked if they found the wallet. They're like, "No, man, no wallet." But I was thinking, fuck, they probably found the wallet, and it had cash, it had all my credit cards and everything in it. And so I was like, look, can I go back in the theater and just see where I was sitting? Well, so I went back in the theater. Fuck, it was tucked in under the seat. So there'd probably been 3 movies after I saw it, at least 2, and the fucking wallet was still there. So, hey.
You're lucky that the 14-year-olds that are supposed to clean the thing afterwards, don't do that thorough of a job, right? Yeah. So there's no chance you're gonna lose that. So did you find out?
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, did you find out that you didn't have your wallet when you went to pay for dinner? Were you out with the
No?
Were you out with Cecil's girlfriend and you're paying for dinner?
No, someone else. I was at someone's house for dinner.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think everybody's probably got a wallet story, but anyway.
I almost left my wallet down the toilet. I was, let's say, finishing a bathroom break and facing away from the toilet, pull up the pants.
Oh, no.
And I had already pressed the flush already, pulled up the pants, and I heard I splashed. Wallet was in the back pocket. I launched it right on top of the toilet, right in the center of the bowl. And it was a public toilet, so this thing was going down with it. Yeah, so it had a huge flush too. It wasn't mine, where it's going to get stuck. This thing is gone. And I had to do
Shell station.
I had to do the math quick, like how much money's in there? What's in there? And there was cash, and I can't let it go. So I timed it. It was like swirling down, and everything else went first. In the last minute, just before the wallet, I snatched it with my fingers, threw it in the sink, washed it all up, and just made out with the cash only. Left my wallet in El toilet
fucking
bowl.
shitto.
Yeah.
Wallets are stupid.
That's
Remember
incredible.
fucking walking around with that giant brick?
Yeah.
That's why I have a bad back.
Me too, brother.
That's right. Yes,
because you're always sitting like this, right? They say that's a thing. You walk around with that wallet. No, I don't have it. If they remake that song, whether they did it, obviously without Fife, but they'd have to change it to I left my iPhone in El Segundo.
Totally. Right? Because back in the day, you needed your iPhone, you needed everything. You needed your Google research team. Everything had to be in there.
I have nothing now. Like I never carry a wallet. I've got a couple of cards that I keep with my phone, and that's about it. And then everything else is in the wallet. But the virtual wallet. I left my virtual wallet in El Segundo.
You still see some dudes walking around with that fucking brick in their back pocket. I just shake my head. I'm like, Jesus, Murphy, what the fuck is in that thing?
Well, it was bad back in the day because you'd have every card, like rewards cards, like all that shit, right?
Your Jimmy hats.
Right?
My
You
boat
needed
license.
your Jimmy hats. You needed your Blockbuster card. You needed like every credit card you ever had, and you had lots of them because they only had like a $500 limit, so you had to have 8 cards because you've racked them all up at the record store.
Well, now you can have that combo case where you have all your cards sitting on the side of your face because your phone fits in the wallet cell phone case combo. So you see buddy chatting with all his visas, platinum visas, showing hey the gold cards.
That might be one of the dumbest things ever. Like that wallet. Will next door has that thing too. It's like the leather wallet that folds over and where it keeps all your cards. I'm like, fuck that.
That's stupid too.
Old job I had,
crazy.
The old job I had, the VP was doing that, and it didn't look very VP-ish.
Oh, it looks stupid.
Nevertheless, we can't let those bozos drag down a fantastic song.
Right? Yeah, we got lots to say about wallets. Maybe not as much about I left my wallet in El Segundo, but nonetheless. Number 5, we're getting into the top 5. Back to Low End Theory. Check the rhyme.
Yeah, I like that song. It's the back and forth. It's like a conversation between Fife and Q-Tip, and it reminds me of an EPMD influence for sure.
Really,
EPMD used to do a lot of that back and forth banter. So it's a great song.
Yeah, they do a lot. I love
a little rap conversation.
These guys' voice complement each other so well too. It kind of reminds me, I guess you could say, like Chuck D and Flava Flav. I like that combo too. But these guys,
Cypress Hill.
They're both really accomplished rappers. I don't know what it is. It's the tone or their cadence, but I like them together a lot in this song, especially.
Speaking
Q-Tip is smooth.
Sorry.
Sorry, Q-Tip is smooth and Fife is a little bit. They said his voice is high. I don't think it's high, but I think Fife's a little harsher, and they just totally complement each other.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it. It's not that high. Anyway, Cease, you're gonna say?
No, it's just Low End Theory. I mean, in a way reminds me of Temple of Boom, Cypress Hill. They don't sound the same, but the minimal music, like Temple of Boom, is just bass line, drum machine. That's it. Plus their extra little mixes over top, but just a minimal rap music behind. It doesn't sound the same, but they remind me of each other with that.
Okay.
And it
definitely. Yeah, great combo.
Yeah. It's funny, someone just mentioned Smooth. I don't know, that might have been you, Morrow, but that was the only thing. Number 4 is we're going to Midnight Marauders, Electric Relaxation. The only thing I wrote in the notes was Smooth. I would just that's all I wrote down. And I think maybe Gordo, I know that you've gotten that extensive detail that you got from B-Rad. I think he had some good notes on this song.
B-Rad did. He had some exceptional notes, but this one stuck out for me. So first of all, B-Rad had this song very high on his list. He had it number 3. So one higher, I guess. But this is B-Rad chiming in on Electric Relaxation. Whether bumping this song with your lady on a Friday night, or when you're out with your boys rocking out in the car en route to school, this hits no matter what, and it is a song for the masses. So just sit back and allow this electric relaxation in your head for a while. And then he's got a note from the research team. He's got some cheat notes here. It says here, the faces on the front of the Midnight Marauders cover include the likes of Beastie Boys, Chuck D, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, De La Soul, Dougie Fresh, Busta Rhymes, and Ice-T, just to name a few. Excellent work, B-Rad. Excellent.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh. Fife's angry with the groupies again in this song. I can't remember the line, but
really,
yeah, he's always angry with the groupies. Thinks they're trying to take his money.
He just doesn't trust him. Can't trust him.
Well, I think maybe that's the other parallel with Eazy-E, because I think Eazy was kind of the same way too. He thought everyone was stealing his money, right? So
absolutely.
Number 3. Oh, number 3. This do that, do that, do that, that.
Oh, yes.
Award tour, Midnight Marauders again. B-Rad again was really high on that song. This is Midnight Marauders. I was trying to figure out which album, and I wanna say it was Low End Theory, but for whatever reason I listened to a fair amount of Midnight Marauders, and maybe that was just because I was hanging around Morrow and Cease at that time. I don't know.
Sounds familiar.
This song, when I listen to it, it's one of it's just got such a great groove to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just so solid, just front to back.
Totally. Was it so? Are you saying this is your favorite album? If you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the tie would go to, again, Cease mentioned it, that my favorite song is on this album, a song called Midnight, which nobody else had on their list, but I'll get into it a little bit. That particular song, I love the story about it. And that's what got me in that rabbit hole into the Ice-T album, because he's got that song Midnight, and that's what triggered me, because they're similar in that they're songs about stuff that happens at night, you and your boys, whatever. They're completely different, obviously. And that Ice-T's is a very hardcore, hard-hitting, like incredible story though. Lyrically, it's so good. But I love those rap songs, or really any song that tells those kinds of stories about whether they're real events or not, things that kind of like a progression of what happens throughout an evening or whatever. So in any event, that would be the tie breaker, I suppose, that would say, if I had to make a choice, I'd say Midnight Marauders is my favorite of their albums.
Nice.
It is a good fucking album.
It seems like the first three albums were probably by quite a bit our favorites.
Yep.
I like the other albums. I wasn't super fond of the newest one, but I mean, the Love Movement is still really good. I just couldn't find a way on much of my list.
Well, our top 10 is dominating, or is dominated by the first three albums. Once you get into the 11 to 20, then you start to see Beats, Rhymes, and Life, and I think there might be a song or two of the Love Movement. Maybe I'm doing a quick scan. I don't even think so. A lot of the songs from those other two albums would be at the bottom of our list. I know that Trev went heavy on We Got It From Here on his list, and then you see some Love Movement with B-Rad. Who else has some?
I got a couple.
I've got a couple songs there, so they kind of trickle in, but they just don't score enough points with the algorithm to get them in there. It's heavy in the first three. Beats, Rhymes, and Life kind of sprinkles in, and then the last two just can't crack that top 20.
Yeah. All right.
As we get into the top two, what I thought was really interesting actually with this top 10 was, the top three songs, each song was from one of the first three albums, right? So it wasn't like one album dominated. So number 3 was Award Tour, Midnight Marauders. Number 2 is from the Low End Theory, a song called Excursions. I know this was one of the first songs that I heard, but I never owned this album, or I wasn't super familiar with the whole with the whole album. But the opening rhyme, right, back in the days when I was a teenager, that you hear that and it's just like, oh yeah, I totally remember that.
Yeah, it is such.
This song cost me probably a couple of years of listening to Tribe Called Quest, because the first time I heard it, was doesn't matter where it was, but there's lots of group of kids, and some wannabe gangsters. Like, remember back when we were high school, like when rap started turning gangster rap, all these stupid kids driving around looking for fights, listening to gangster rap, and then starting like suburban gangs, like driving around acting like they're gangsters, but they're well-off-to-do kids. So
Yeah.
one of those kids, I heard the opening, I heard the beginning, and it caught my attention. I'm like, what is this song? And then I heard the back in the days when I had status in a pager, and this guy was one of those dudes that always had his pager, like for no reason. Like, what the fuck you need a pager for? You know, you got no job.
Your mom's
you
gonna
got
call.
shit to do, right?
Yeah.
Everyone you know is here. So he's just like that image of a dude thinking he's badass with his pager, and then that song I thought was like gangster rap, and I got kind of turned off from the gangster rap for a little bit there, not for long. But yeah, so I just never thought I would like it.
Pagers were fucking stupid too, like wallets.
Yeah.
Oh, they might have been stupid.
Did you have a pager? I had a pager.
I had one because I was slinging a little weed. Right?
I was going to say, you only
the first
you only
guy.
get a pager if you're working construction or you're dealing dope. Those are the only reasons you have a pager.
So
I
I
was
got
working
it.
construction.
I got it off the guy I bought my weed off. So my dealer, my supplier, and so I got it off him, and I was with you actually, Huff. We were freaking playing Sunday night hockey, and I'm like, oh, I got one of my first pages, and I run to the payphone and I call the number. It's like City of Calgary Police. He freaking pranked me. The first the first number was the Calgary Police. He sends that to me as the callback number. Prick.
That was a life moment. You should.
That's
Everyone
amazing.
should. It's 266-1234. You got to know the number.
Yeah.
But did you have?
I thought it was 911.
Yeah.
I had the pager that had the speaker on it. So you'd leave a message, and then the fucking message would blurt out. So
Well, that's great when you're out in public.
yeah. Well, if the guys because we were doing construction, if they knew you were with a customer, they'd phone and prank you, right?
Get out.
Yeah. So
Oh.
this pager would beep, and then all this fucking this like crazy message would come out. You know, whatever it is they decided.
Well, they were followed by those stupid mic phones where you just press the button, you dial up the guy's number, but you press it and you could talk right into it, and Buddy has no control. You just start talking in and out of his phone. So
Worst
at
idea
work,
ever.
we used to love pranking guys. Start like swearing at someone right away. You see him with a customer, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
it's like,
We should start a museum of stupid fucking inventions.
Well,
with the culture.
we've touched on at least 4 of them actually in this episode. We might want to rename
Pages
this.
and mic phones.
Fucking mic phones, pagers, wallets.
Oh, another great song, Sky Pager, if we don't get to it today, has one of the greatest lines. Batteries I use are Duracell. They last for 3 weeks, so they do me well.
That's awesome. You're the lyrical master. I wouldn't have been able to pull that out if I tried. But
Well, Excursions has one of the best hip hop lines of any song ever.
which is
Beats that are hard.
Beats that are funky. Beats you
Get you hooked like a crackhead
Crackhead
junkie.
junkie.
See, it's funny because
we all know.
Well, we all know that because Cecil would bring that into the locker room when we're playing hockey. He used to drive the other guys crazy. I remember Jank and Kemp and those guys would always get annoyed. But Cecil would walk in, beats that are hard, beats that are funky, just coming in, and then we'd all pile in after. Beats that get you hooked like a crackhead junkie. And they'd be like, "You guys are clowns." And that's probably, you're right, Maura. I forgot all about that. That's probably one of the very few lines, other than, I mean, the opening couple of sentences of that song too. But it's nice to see that you came back around on Excursions, because I just noticed that was your top
Numero uno.
top pick.
Oh,
You and Maura
yeah.
had that as your top song, so you can't
Brings
Well,
back
that's
too many
it.
memories, man.
yeah.
Love
I
it.
did.
Just love it. And then when we went to Recordland and I bought the Warped one, and then they put it on, and obviously, and when it played, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I got to buy this.
I'm definitely getting this on vinyl. Definitely.
I'm surprised I didn't buy it, because I was there with you as they were demoing the album, and it was, quite frankly, it was a lot like this whole process where you put on whatever album and you're listening, and every song was good. Like you're like, oh yeah, this is good song, nice beat, really cool samples, all that shit. Then next song you go, oh, it's a good song too. Like it was just man, just rolling song after song. And
Midnight.
I almost bought it that day too, but
Midnight Marauders is like that good too, and I like the thing I like about that album is the sort of it's a long story. They got this sort of the commentary. The girl with the commentary between all the songs on Midnight Marauders. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, right.
I forgot about that's... I'm going to get that on vinyl for sure. That has to be done.
It's like The Wall, Pink Floyd.
Right?
Yeah, it's a concept album, right? All right, so let's... The number one song
boy.
is from People's Instinctive Travels and the Paths of Rhythm. Can I Kick It?
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can.
So obviously the one thing that I thought was interesting about this, I mean, obviously it starts out with the, Walk on the Wild Side, that bass line. What I found interesting about this was there was an interview with Fife Dog, and he said that Tribe has never received any royalties from this song. Because of that sample. He said, they were thankful that Lou Reed allowed them to use the sample, but he got all the royalties. And he said he was a little bit disappointed that he didn't share the wealth on that. But Lou Reed kept all the royalties. They didn't make a dime off this record.
Really?
This song is not on my list anymore. I take it back.
Right?
Can I tell you what B-Rad had to say?
Yeah, can you?
So B-Rad,
yes, you can.
I see what you did there. So B-Rad did have this as his number one song, and he says this about it. This has to be one of hip-hop's greatest universal anthems. I can't remember going to a show and not hearing some version or sample of this lick being played pre or post-show. A classic in all senses of the word. Who hasn't wiped their feet on this rhythm rug? Probably the most played Tribe song I know, but never gets overplayed, and that speaks volumes. Well deserving of my number one spot, and I'd be blown away if it's not on all your top fives at the very least. And then his research team note says for this song, the drum sample on this track is from the song Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf by Lonnie Smith. Thank you, B-Rad. That is some good stuff.
Thank you, B-Rad. And
there's 5 different songs
B-Rad,
sampled.
What's that?
There's 5 songs sampled in that too.
Is that right?
Yeah, I only
Wild
know the
Side.
one. It obviously dominates it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I was going to say to answer B-Rad's question or his comment, I guess, when he said that he'd be surprised if it wasn't in the top 5 of everybody's. Trev had it number 2. I had it number 4. Cecil had it number 4. Gordo at 8. Morrow at 10. So Morrow and Gordo, you guys let B-Rad down. You didn't have it in your top 5.
That's absolutely stunning. That's 6 dudes would have that in their top 10. Like that's a very, very well deserved.
It's crazy.
Number one.
I would argue the overplayed part of it, but it's a great song.
Yeah, I've never.
You think
it is overplayed?
Really?
Where? He hangs out different places. We hang out.
Yeah.
Oh, boys, you know what I just realized too? This is a new high score. 97 has not been touched before.
Because we've never had this many dudes.
That's true.
There's
But
8 dudes.
97? That just sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome. But the perfect score would be 120.
It's true. That is true.
So
Sabotage still is the only perfect score. Oh, wait.
No, we had
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. Yeah, we've had 2 perfect scores of 80, which is funny because Excursions comes in with 80 points, but five guys picked it, so it gets the bump there. So to quickly recap the top 10, 10 is Butter, 9 Bugging Out, 8 Scenario, 7 Oh My God, 6 I Left My Wallet in El Segundo, 5 Check the Rhyme, 4 is Electric Relaxation, 3 is Award Tour, 2 Excursions, and Can I Kick It at number 1. Normally we would go into the egregious omissions and points of contention. It's kind of hard to do with a band like this.
Agreed.
And Gordo, you might have mentioned it, but the only note that I had here was maybe Anita Applebaum that came in at number 18, so it still made the top 20.
It'll be on the
but
playlist.
Should it have been higher? Should it have cracked the top 10? I don't know. Four guys had it on their list, but nobody had it in their top 10. I didn't have it on my list, and Cecil didn't have it either.
I think it's a great song for the ladies, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, Cecil, why don't you get in? Because we were talking about how it's
just smooth. It's smooth. It's almost smooth as butter.
It's about a fine lady with a fat ass.
Yeah, and he does it so. He talks about it so classy, right?
He does. Yeah.
You know what's
like Q-tip.
You want to fall in love with that song again if you did like it at first. Like I loved it, but Pharrell Williams does a remix of it.
Okay.
Because that was, he said, and even in the documentary, he says that song changed my life. Like he goes, that song changed my life. Like my whole musical career was influenced by that song. And so he does a remix for him, and it's absolutely fucking phenomenal.
Have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll check that out too.
Gotta like those big booties.
Right? The my point of contention, if I had to add, and I've already talked about it, was just that the song Midnight, which is my favorite song. Nobody else selected it. But again, with a band like this that has so many songs over a 6-album period, and I think we all agree that I don't think you could say that like a song is shitty or that, I hate that song.
Yeah,
I don't think that would probably be the point, whereas you'd probably have that with other bands. This might be one of the most solid bands that I've listened to through any of the previous however many we've done.
There's no crap. There's no skipping tunes.
No, not really.
It was
a
long.
A lot of filler.
It was the longest 6 albums I've ever heard, but it was like a pleasure.
Floyd.
Yeah, it's true. It was a pleasure to go through, man. They're so chill and it's just so relaxed. They're just great.
I found the problem was when I started listening to them instead of concentrating and saying, would this be in my top 5? I'd be halfway through the album and not fucking even thought twice. I'd be like,
exactly. I don't even know what song I'm on.
Exactly.
Because a lot of them do sound the same. I mean, we got to be careful with that. Not necessarily the same, but so many similarities in terms of the tempo, the cadence of the rapping. You can, just like Morrow said, you can hit play on the first song on whatever album, and 25 minutes later, you kind of come to and go, oh my God, I was supposed to be evaluating these. Like, I don't even know what song I'm on right now. Like, you have to kind of start over. It's like reading a book, when you read like 4 pages and then you're like, I didn't remember any of that. I have to go back and read it all. So
it's the kind of movie it's the kind of movie, it's the kind of music you almost, you'd be in, like you're sitting in a lounge having, a cocktail and play. The music is jazzy and it's sort of a background music, but it's got like character to it and stories. So
it'd be great in a coffee house.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally.
Just play nothing but Tribe.
You just could open and call it a Tribe Called Coffee and just play this and just sit back and watch the money roll in. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
You could put the 5 albums in a 5-disc changer and just fucking hit repeat.
And listen to the same 12 songs.
Totally.
Another stupid invention.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move into the deep cuts portion of today's program. Did Trev and B-Rad have any deep cuts?
I picked one for Trev.
Go ahead, Mo.
We Can Get Down.
Same.
Because that was his 4th song and it didn't make the top 20. So, and that's a really good song.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was Trev's.
And Gordo, you were working on something for B-Rad, yeah?
Yeah, B-Rad has he's got Once Again. He says the verse on this track remind me of a homage to battle rap. It's not like they call out anyone specifically, but they definitely let other MCs know that they are not to be fucked with. Then that wicked jazz chorus by Tammy Lucas just pulls it all together in pure Tribe form. Research team says this song was nominated for a Grammy, best song by a duo or group. but they lost to The Crossroads by Bones, Thugs, and Harmony. It was one of 4 Grammy nominations they would receive. Again,
I was going to say
brother?
that is close to an egregious omission for how popular that song was.
Once again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. I didn't realize it was nominated for a Grammy, so that's definitely an egregious omission.
I did listen to it after, and I missed that one. That's a good song.
That's true. What do the Grammys know? They've given us some bad awards. Well, and we already talked about it a couple of episodes ago too, that when we watched the last Grammys, just staring at the screen going, who are these people?
I know, it's so fucking old.
Yeah.
Oh, not the Grammys, but one of the best moments was, oh man, who are they that won the Oscar? Hustle and Flow.
Oh, yeah. Terrence.
Yeah, the band though, the rap band. Oh, who's the band that did all the soundtrack?
I don't know. Can we get a quick Google on that?
Man, they got to do that because they it's funny because they won a freaking Oscar and you can't even understand what they're saying because they got such heavy self accents.
That was a great movie. While you're researching that, I'm going to do my deep cuts real quick. Mm-hmm. Mine are both from Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Me and B-Rad actually shared this one. Keeping It Moving is one, and my second favorite Tribe song. So this would, I had Midnight First that nobody had, and then my second favorite song is a song called Get a Hold, which I'll add as another deep cut, which is a wicked tune.
Excellent.
Great tune
there.
Great tune.
I'll add mine then. Same as I didn't have a lot off the sound, but off of Beats, Rhymes, and Life, I have the hop. I really like the hop. It's got a great groove to it. Very typical Tribe song.
That's a good tune.
And I also, off Midnight Marauders, I got Keep It Rollin', which I really like. It's got like a flute. It's got a piano in there. It's like one of their jazziest songs that I've heard them do, and it's just got a really good coffee groove to it, boys.
Nice.
Did you figure out what band that is yet, Carlin?
3-6 Mafia.
Did you? Oh, Did you page?
Oscar-winning 3-6 Mafia.
Did you page your research team, or did you call them, or what?
Did you page your research team? That's what took so long. They had to get you a payphone.
That's right. It took a while.
They had to get to the payphone to get in on that. Morrow or Cease, who wants to go next on deep cuts?
I'll go. I got Rhythm.
The Rhythm.
Rhythm.
Oh, just Rhythm?
Yeah, Rhythm.
That's it.
It's just the one deep cut, eh? Was it with crickets? I was waiting for another one.
That's a great song. That one really, I could see that one. That's like a speakeasy kind of dim red and blue lights vodka martini song. I do like the jam, but you know what? We have enough songs.
All right. Cecil, to finish it off.
I want to take one. I'm going to say this is Trev's one down on his list, so I can get more in. But he had second last 19, the Donald. I don't know, that's the song I listened to most after I saw everyone else's lists. That one has just an organ groove that's still smooth. It's one of those things that once I had the headphones on and could hear it, the heavy low end better. It was super. It's got a long outro, but it's not too bad. Anyways, I love that tune. So that's Trev's deep cut, as per Carlin.
Fair enough.
Phony Rappers. I love that one because it kind of it's a story again. Stories of them being challenged, by rap battles, and
that's a great tune.
And showing them up. But it also kind of separates. It is kind of it kind of the story kind of explains what's different about them than like the gangster rap. Like they're anti. They're not arrogant. You know, it's an anti-arrogant rap. You know, it's uplifting, classy to women. There's one line, Fife, he goes, that's when I proceeded to give him what he needed. He says, talking about I need a Philly right before I get loose. And Fife says, poor excuse, money, please. I get loose off of orange juice. and right there, I think that's a good description. It separates Tribe from a lot of the arrogant rappers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so tough, man. Like my next one, I'll go with Ham and Eggs because it's just I love songs about food.
I don't eat no ham and eggs because it's high in cholesterol.
Yeah, and then
so catchy.
I disagree with the high in cholesterol though. That's just the yolk. Right?
This is an outrage.
Yeah, and egg is like world's most perfect food. It's the yin yang right there. You know, you need the cholesterol, you need the whites, but it's
good cholesterol.
You got to have a bit of both. You know.
Well, just to add on your point, because Ham and Eggs was on our 11 to 20 list.
Yes.
And I think it
was. Yeah.
And you know what? 12. I just want to make the point that our 11 to 20 is really good. Like I listen to it, it's as good as the top 10 almost, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah. This is going to be a favorite playlist of mine, I would think. I think, you know, we always go through this, right? You finish doing a band, you get so you know, deep into their catalog and what they do, and then you kind of fall in love with them, and then you listen to a shitload of them over the next however many, you know, weeks or months. I think this is going to be one of them. This is going to be a great playlist.
Yeah, dude.
Again, you can find those playlists on Apple Music, YouTube Music, or Spotify, and possibly Deezer.
Possibly. Allegedly.
Possibly. Allegedly. We're just going to wait for Mikey to get back to us on that. So there you have it. You know, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please tell your friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers about it. We do appreciate your support. As I mentioned off the top, you can email the show at picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us about your worst concert experience, or you know, even just let me and Cecil know how much you love us. Ensure you don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to Picks and Sticks. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Amazon, and Pandora. Sorry, I just said us too, because you guys keep writing the show. And there's been enough Gordo and Moro love. We're trying to even it up here. So show Huff and see some love, will ya? So that's it. That's it for A Tribe Called Quest. Thanks for listening, and until next time, see you.